learning, to discuss the importance of interactivity and student engagement during teaching and learning in both the large groups and the small groups, to be able to decide how to involve the students in the large groups and the small groups to facilitate the deep learning, and to appreciate the importance of managing the learning session. So these are, although it's just 2 hours, but at the same time, these 2 hours are very important to appreciate how to transfer your to transfer the education into an interesting interactive one. So you did have an assignment, but at the same time you have a reflection based on your pre-class individual reflection. And we here at this session want you to share your thoughts. We are going to remember a useful class that you have attended in the past and that you have transformed your understanding and thinking and performance as a participant. And we'll call this class a successful one. Try to reflect on your experience and answer these 2 questions. Prepare your mobiles, please. Can you prepare your mobiles and join us at Slido with this number, or you can scan the QR code and write down your reflection, and it will show here to your colleagues and us all in this session. I would appreciate if you all open your cameras, because it is nicer to communicate through the camera. Can you please scan the QR code? I mean, it is easier to communicate when the cameras are opened. So, yes, engaging the students was a wonderful experience. Being a facilitator, being interactive, you were impressed by the facilitator, engaging all the participants. Impressive, you mean impressive time or impressive students? You were impressed by the students. The teacher or the instructor encouraged the discussion, and this is another important thing. Also, what added on this successful class is a feedback from the students. And the most important point here that was delivered by most of you, or the majority, is that the instructor or the teacher or the faculty was there as a facilitator, interactive. Students' feedback is very important. And of course, the experience of including everyone was really impressive. So this is thank you very much for your feedback and for answering the question. Let's go for another question. So what did students do during the class, and how did students contribute to the usefulness of the class? Can you scan it again, please? This is nice, sharing their experiences. So they were attentive and they were interested, they were active and they were interacting. They were discussing, and this is also interacting. Sharing the experience is the interaction as well. They were attentive again. Okay. We are waiting for more interacting, being positive about this experience and being happy, maybe giving a good feedback or a better reflection after the session. Attentive and interactive is the word. Different perspectives, answering the question and sharing. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Can we move on? Dr. Ilham, it's to
Hello,
you.
Dr. Randa.
Yes.
Is this my turn? Okay. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to be with every one of you. Long time since the last day of our meeting. طبعا congratulations for happy Ramadan. It's my pleasure and honor to be with Dr. Randa in this session.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Randa. As Dr. Randa said, definitely we want to make learning useful and effective. Definitely. If we would like to know how learning can be effective, the effective learning is the learning that change the way the student think, the learning that change the way that the student perform. So effective learning, for learning to be effective, it should make difference in the learner. And this difference in the way of thinking and in the way they act and perform. And definitely, if we want to make such a change among our students, we will transfer some knowledge, some skills, some attitude. However, these things should be transferred in a way that can make a change in the action and in the way of thinking of our students. And this is, I think, our هو I can't make next Dr. Randa. لا في there is and this is called effective learning, or the synonymous of this effective learning called deep learning. So if we want to ask ourselves what is the difference between deep learning and superficial learning, I hope everyone can answer this. So the deep learning is the learning that make a change in our learner. How this change will happen? Definitely our student think differently and perform differently because of this learning. So please close your eye and try to remember, what does it mean, deep learning? Deep learning is the effective learning that make change. And if we look for this Bloom's taxonomy, definitely if we transfer the learning and the knowledge and the experience of our students, if it happened in this lower part of this pyramid, definitely this will be a very superficial learning, because our student will just repeat what they heard. This is called superficial. They remember some talks, some words, some paragraphs, and they may understand them, but they can't apply, they can't analyze, they can't evaluate, they can't create. Therefore, we want always to push the learning of our students to be on this higher level, to be deep learning, to be effective learning. So our role as a teacher is to provide our learners with opportunity of deep learning by helping them to apply, to analyze, to evaluate, to create. Therefore, يعني move from this lower part of the pyramid and move to the higher part of this pyramid to promote what's called the higher level of thinking, because this is the only way to ensure deep learning. Next, Dr. Randa. طب how could we do that? Definitely, we used to. The teacher always stand in the stage like that, and they sag on the stage, and they never stop telling, and explaining and talking. And this never be an effective learning. So this is never effective learning, because it's just telling. I always deliver the information. I always tell my student what's right, what's wrong. However, our students keep passive, sit without doing anything. And on this level, this teaching is not effective at all, because it will never make difference. طب if we would like to ask ourselves, how could we do our teaching and learning effective? How? Definitely by involving the student, by stopping to sag on the stage, stopping to keep telling our student the information, and we should be aside our student, helping them to think, to perform, to write, to do any activities that help them to be involved. So let us ask the question for every one of you, how to define student involvement. From your point of view, how you define student involvement. This is not poll, Dr. Randa?
It's not poll, no. Because
Okay.
if it is poll, we can make it as an interaction questions answer, because poll is not working from my side.
Okay.
Ilham.
How to define student involvement? I'd like to hear two of our colleagues to define student involvement.
Student involvement can be through asking questions, replying to the professor.
Define it, يا فندم, define. And I don't ask about the methods of keeping them involved. I would like to ask about the definition of student involvement.
Sharing in the learning process.
بالظبط. Okay.
How a student can share in the learning process.
Share their knowledge about the topic, or the what they already know about this topic.
Okay, so it's just mental involvement. Do you, يعني mental involvement? They should think and tell.
I think it's the amount of the involvement, like it's how much energy they are putting in, whatever the kind of energy, either mental or physical or emotional experience.
This is very good. This is what we want to define student involvement. Student involvement is the energy spent by the students in the learning process, by spending mental, physical, and emotional involvement. So involvement, not just mental, no, it's mental, physical, emotional. And I think good teachers should involve the student in all these three levels. And if we succeed in that, definitely we will move from what's called superficial learning to what's called deep learning that have a real effect on the student performance. Thank you so much for answering this question, and let us move to the other slide. Okay, all yours, Dr. Randa.
Thank you, Ilham. So this wise man, Einstein, was not a physicist only. He was also a psychologist, and he had many scientific achievements. including science, education, and of course, advocacy for peace and civil rights. So he said this statement and he delivered it. He never taught his pupils. He said, I never teach my pupils. I only provide the conditions in which they can learn. So this is the environment we need. We are providing the proper environment. We are providing the conditions for our students to learn and to investigate and to be taught well. And this is not only for their benefit, it is for our benefit as well. So he inspired us and he inspired many thoughtful scientists and many psychologists. And as a result, many theories were proposed to facilitate the student involvement. One of these theories is known as the experiential learning theory, and the other is the cognitive load theory. I'll try to put it into simple words because it is pure psychology that is used in the medical education domain. Let's see about this diagram, which was invented by Kolbs in 1984. And first, we have to understand that the experiential word comes from experiencing. And it's not from listening or it's not from tutoring. It is that the students here, they experience by themselves. They have hands-on activities, and this is known as a concrete experience. So the first step in this cycle is a real concrete experience in which they perform a hands-on activity. And then they will come to reflect on this activity and to identify what's going right and what's going wrong. So it's very important to know and identify and know the difference between the right and the wrong. And then there is the abstract concepts. They are building some concepts, and these concepts mean that they are analyzing the results and analyzing their experience and thinking about connecting these experiences to the theories and to the broader concepts. And then they are going to experiment and apply this on different models. And that's the way the experiential theory tries to apply the learning in its most effective and most correct experience, in which it's not just like Dr. Ilham has told us, telling and staying on the stage and repeating the words. No, they are putting hands-on, actually hands-on experience with hands-on activities, reflecting on it, and then putting, analyzing their reflection, trying to source this to certain theories that they have learned before, and then applying it into real active experiments on other models. So this way of, or this theory encourages what is known as the self-directed learning, and it promotes the different skills and the knowledge of the learner. Now we come to the other theory, which was introduced by John Swiller, and it states a very important point here, is that it's never good to overload your student or your participants with work, because this overload will result in a mess. It will result in that the learner won't be able to grasp all the education, or won't be able to grasp the point very easily. We have to simplify the mode and the learning procedure. And the overloading actually comes from a lot of loads. It comes from an intrinsic load, an extraneous load, and from the German load. And what are these really, the loads? The intrinsic load is the difficulty of the subject itself. The subject is quite complicated. It is complex. As if, for example, I was trying to understand this cognitive load theory. I have to to admit that it was a little bit complex when I first read about, and I thought that this is a very important challenge for me, and I have to overcome it. And I will see how to overcome this. And then there is another external or extraneous load. And this external or extraneous load, unfortunately, it means that the discussion during the learning process was poorly. It was not the right way that the teacher or the instructor has manifested the subject itself. So it is another load. It's not only the complexity of the material, but it's the complexity of the teaching procedure. The teaching procedure and the explanation was not the perfect thing. So this is another load that it complicates the matter. And then there comes another load, and this is known as the Germain load. And the Germain load is that we all have basic knowledge, and then comes over it a new knowledge in the same subject. And it is difficult for us to align the new for the old with the old knowledge. And in this cognitive load theory, John Swiller tried to solve it by certain modification points. Let's see how he did this. The intrinsic load was, which is the complexity. Look at the words, they are flying away from the book. And these are really complex and overloading our brains. So we have to pass through clear, simplified explanations, gradually increasing the tasks, starting from the simple tasks to a more difficult task. Maybe one of these theories is the use of the multimedia and the visual aids offer reflections for students. Another important point is that we have to go to, while explaining the subject itself or the point of which we know that it is really complicated and complex, we have to go to directly to the point, minimize the distractions and the complexities around this point. We have to simplify it. For example, break it down into simple pieces of information, break it into chunks. And of course, it is very easy for us, while preparing a certain material to explain it to our students, to use for example, multimedia, so as to be able, for example, a YouTube video or an Instagram or even a TikTok that is talking about this subject. We can use the multimedia wisely. And nowadays, the AI is helping us a lot in this condition. So the German load is in which new material is added to the old material. We have to apply the new knowledge in a different context, giving different examples, and this it really makes a difference in the acquisition of the information. So now we come with two of our scientists who have the Mayer and the John Swiller. Mayer stated that our working memory has limited capacity, and by combining the verbal and the visual information, we use both information. We don't use only, for example, when I asked you that we have to communicate together through the camera, we are using both the talking and the visual information, and this actually makes a difference, and this will result in the reduction of the overload, and it will be modified into a simpler piece of information that can be grasped and can also, as we'll see in the next slide, modify the memory from a short sensory memory to a working memory and then to a long-term memory. And we will understand this bit in a while. John Swiller also has recommended that managing the cognitive load effectively by using instructional designers or by helping learners to focus on essential information, just the essential information, and escalate this bit by bit, escalate the tasks, always start with the simple tasks and then gradually increase these tasks to a harder ones, and this also lessens the load of the cognitive load. Now we come to psychological, really a psychological aspect that has been implemented in the medical education and in the way of educating and learning at the same time. We do have three types in this figure. There are three types of memories. The sensory memory, which is perceived from the external environment through the eyes, through the touch, through the hear, even through the smell. And it comes to us in a very short time. We don't keep this memory for long. We might forget it, except if this piece of information is manipulated for further use. If we, for example, see some numbers and then we can use these numbers later, for example, the European number, which couldn't be put into a chunk and they are difficult, and then you have to process this number and you put this number after you have seen it and after you have written it many times, you can put it into a working memory, and it is a short memory. So you keep this working memory, this numbers in your memory for while you are using it. But of course, who of us does not use, don't use the mobile numbers? We don't memorize our closest people numbers because it is there. We don't need this to overcrowd our memory. So if we are using the information, processing it, we will keep it for a while we are using it. But if it is effectively encoded and consolidated, this will turn into a long-term memory, which will stay for us. For example, let's take an example here for a number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7, 8, 9. If we put it into chunks and we have processed it and encoded it, I have to say that 1, 2, 3, 4 is a number that is easily mentioned, and then 7, 8, 9 is another number. But when we put them together, they are effectively encoded and consolidated, and they are there in our long term, and they can be used for the working memory because we are going to use this. And so this is how how we can change our sensory memory, which is a very short memory that can fly away, if we are effectively encoding it into and working with it into a working memory, and then the working memory may apply or may supply us with some information to be a long term, and there it stays. So this is a simple, I hope that you grasp it, the psychological theory out of it, a simple explanation of these. Now we come to the retention rate. What is the retention rate? The retention rate, it refers to the percentage of information or knowledge that a person retains over a specific time. And this pyramid, it explains it very well. For example, I can retain some 5% of the lecture if I attend this lecture, but if I read after after attending the lecture, I'm going to retain 10%. If I'm going to listen to the recording, and if I'm going to see visualize it on multimedia that is wise enough, I'm going to retain 20%. If someone has demonstrated the information and the material in a special way, okay, this is good. I'm going to retain about 30%. If I will discuss this with my peers, like the experience that you have attended and the reflection that you have said, you have remembered that you were many of you have also remembered, I'm sure that they have remembered the subject when they were talking about the perception of the students and how the teacher discussed the material. And then I am learning about 50% of this material. I'm going to do this material, so I will be very happy to understand 75. And then after learning about it, I can teach it to others. So we are passing from passive to active and from active to passive. And the sensation usually helps us in this. The hearing and the visualizing and the discussions are in performing the active learning and performing the different activities will certainly improve the retention rate. So performing the activities and then starting to prepare yourself to teach the others, you might reach 90% without just recalling this material. So this is what is the retention rate and what are the applications that will help us to reach from 5% just listening to the lecture till 90%. Back to you, Ilham.
Thank you. يعني a very big dose. And we should move from theory, and definitely understanding theory is very important, because I think innovation can be achieved by understanding theory behind student involvement. Definitely, we learned a lot about don't overload the mind of your student, because loading the mind will minimize achievement. Second thing, we should start from what they can do, from their performance, from their past experience. Please remember, you should know your audience and your students to help them to build on the base that you have. Moving from all these theories to application, in the teaching session, definitely we have a large group teaching and small group teaching and the clinical skill teaching. These are the teaching setting that we know. And in every teaching session, students are encouraged to think and not just to sit and hear and recall. Therefore, we should encourage our student to be actively involved. Therefore, in the coming workshop, we want to know how could we involve our students in every teaching session. Therefore, we will be divided into 4 groups. Please remember to assign a timekeeper, to assign presenter, and to assign, even if you a reporter, and you will work in these breakout rooms. Excuse me, Dr. Randa, before? No shift, Aya. We will work in these breakout rooms into 4 groups, as I said. Each 2 group will be discussing how to involve students in large group, and the other 2 group will discuss how to involve students in small group. So we are going to be divided into 4 groups. Group 1 and 2 will discuss how to involve students in large group setting. Group 3 and 4 will discuss how to involve students in small group. You will work in these breakout rooms for 18 minutes. Then collect your ideas, and we will back on the main room to present what we have collected from our group in 3 minutes. Is the workshop clear for everyone? If there is any question?
So class room 1 is group 1, room 2 is group 2, and so on. And
Okay,
we are
group
going
1
to
and group 2 discuss how to involve student in large group setting.
Yeah.
Group 3 and group 4 will discuss how to involve student in small group setting. You will work in these breakout rooms for 18 minutes. Assign timekeeper, assign definitely presenter. Everything is clear?
Any
Okay,
questions?
Shaima, Zainab, can
تم-
you
تمام يا
divide
دكتور.
the fellows into breakout rooms?
اوكي يا دكتور.
And take care, it's just 18 minutes يا شيماء,
اوكي يا
okay?
دكتور.
18
Alright.
minutes. Thank you so much.
See you after 18 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
دكتور رندا، دكتور رندا،
ايوه
احنا هنروح في الأوض ولا هندننا كده بره ولا نعمل ايه؟
هنسيبهم بقى يشتغلوا لوحدهم.
مش هنموف في الأوض؟
عايزة تموف؟
I think ممكن اموف انا في اوضتين وحضرتك في اوضتين، نتأكد بس انهم بدأوا صح، لا بعدين يكونوا ماشيين في حتة تانية خالص.
طيب ماشي خلاص، خليني
طيب.
انا 1 2 في ال 1 2.
اوكي.
وانت
طيب شيماء.
حطيني بقى بتوين.
نعم يا دكتور.
انا عايزة بس اعرف اغير الاوض ازاي.
عايزين بس نموف في الأوض، يعني أنا في أوضتين ودكتورة رندا في أوضتين لمدة ثواني كده، بس نعرف إن الفيلوز
تمام.
يعني بيعملوا صح، مش
الدكتورة مروة او الدكتور أميرة.
هم
دكتور
المفروض
جمال
بيظهر
لسه.
لهم مسج هتروح لهم، يعني بيقبلوها عشان يروحوا الروم. هم راحوا 2.
خلاص. أول ما يروحوا يا دكتور
دكتورة أميرة.
أستاذة شيماء، وديني
تمام.
أنا ودكتورة رندا في الأوض، بس
حاضر.
عرفينا إحنا رايحين أنهي أوض بس.
تمام، اخلي حضرتك روم 1 و2 ودكتور رندا روم 3 و4.
ماشي.
ماشي
طب
خلاص.
بس
أوكي،
الدكتورة
موافقة يا
أميرة
دكتورة
لسه،
رندا؟
أميرة لسه بره.
دكتور امير حضرتك سامعني؟
طيب انت بعتيها على الجروب.
هي مبعوثه يا دكتور، المفروض ان في رساله بتظهر لها بتروح، هي عندي ان هي
شكل دكتورة أميرة مشيت من فاتحة السكرين ومش موجودة. دكتورة أميرة، ممكن تكون دكتورة أميرة مش قدام التليفون الكمبيوتر أصلا.
ما
تمام.
دي مشكلة
انا هرن
بقى
عليها.
فاتحين الكاميرات.
لا، هي مش فاتحة الكاميرا، هي قافلاها اهي.
تفتحها.
هرن عليها فون يا دكتور.
طيب حطينا بقى أنا
هبعت حضراتكم الروم دلوقتي.
هي مش موجودة معانا أصلا، ما احنا
أيوة
برضو
طبعا دكتورة أميرة فاتحة البتاع ومش موجودة.
ما عشان كده لازم يكونوا فاتحين الكاميرا يا إلهام، مهم قوي.
خلاص حضرتك قولي لهم هذه الريجوليشن، أنا ما أعرفش طبعا.
لا ده دايما كده في الكل، في الاي اف اي لازم يفتحوا
احنا
الكاميرا.
بنبعت لهم يا دكتور، وكل ايميل بيتبعت لهم ان لازم الكاميرا تبقى مفتوحه.
صح، ده لازم حقيقي.
اعتبر
هبعت
يعني
حضراتكم
الدكتورة
الروم دلوقتي.
أميرة ما جاتش، لو ما حضرتش يعني شوف ايه الأخبار، يبقى هي غايبة كده.
تمام يا دكتور، زينب بترن عليها، هبعت حضراتكم الروم دلوقتي.
لا، مش مفروض نرن عليها، ما هو هترن عليها هترد. هي المفروض لما نناديها دلوقتي دكتورة أميرة تظهر. انا مش فاتحه الكاميرا حقيقي، لان انا عيني عندي ستاي بنت
لا لا
لذيذه،
يا
عندي
حبيبتي،
عين مقفوله.
سلامتك يا إلهام، أنا بتكلم على على
لا،
الستودنتس.
وانا كمان المفروض افتح حقيقي، بس انا
معلش انت
شكلي
عندك
وحش
ظروف،
قوي.
عندك ظروف.
شكلي وحش قوي وعينيا
أنا عندي
ورمانه خالص، عندي ستاي في الابر ايليد، فعامله زي اللي عندي توزس.
دايما بتفتحي الكاميرا أكيد، بس هي لازم يكونوا هم فاتحين الكاميرا، وهي سايبانة، يعني سايبانة وداخلة، أو يمكن هي فاتحة 2.
لا يا دكتور، هي مش موجوده في الروم بتاعتها.
خلاص تتحسب غياب، قول لها.
تمام.
طب يلا تودينا نروح احنا فين بقى؟
حاضر،
علشان
هودي حضرتك روم 3 و4.
طيب يعني 3 شوية وبعدين 4.
دكتور إلهام 1 و2.
طيب
خلاص،
هو
حبة
انا ممكن
صغيرين يا شيماء، مش كتير يعني.
انا ممكن اتحرك
اه ممكن حضراتكم تتحركوا عادي.
والله
ازاي؟
العظيم قولي لي، طب اتحرك ازاي؟
البريك اوت روم ظاهر عند حضراتكم؟
لا،
لا
انا مش ظاهر عندي حاجة.
طيب في الايقونات اللي تحت في بريك اوت روم، ممكن تضغطوا
في
عليها
بريك اوت روم، خلاص انا
لقيت، صح، خلاص
جنب
انا
حضرتك
لقيت.
كده او
جوين
سايد.
فري. هي مين اللي مش موجودة بقى؟
دكتورة أميرة عبد الكريم، هي في روم 2 اهي، مش يعني مكتوبة نوت جويند.
طيب هي قاعدة فتحت الكاميرا، لا لازم انا
هي
هقول لهم دلوقتي. انا قلت
تمام.
لهم joining a room will stop your screen sharing. اوكي، هو انا كنت عاملة سكرين. اوكي.
تمام.
السلام عليكم يا جماعة، انتوا في جروب هو
هو
ده جروب
حضرتك،
كام؟
لا حضرتك لسه في المين روم، انقل لحضرتك ولا حضرتك
لو سمحتي، اصل انا مش لاقية اللي انتوا بتقولوه تحت الرومز دي، مش
طيب
لاقياه.
خلاص، هنقل حضرتك روم 3.
ماشي يا حبيبتي، بس لو تقولوا لي برضه اتحرك ازاي، يبقى ربنا يخليكم.
في الايقونات اللي تحت 3 نقط كده اللي هم مكتوب عليهم مور.
more more
اه
more 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 more. لا تخيلي، اهي 3 ايقونات مور. ايوه لقيت بريك
في
اوت
بقى
روم
ايقونه
واحد.
قبليها بريك اوت روم.
انا مكتوبة بريك اوت روم واحد
اه
بالاحمر.
تمام، حضرتك دوسي عليها
اهو.
هتظهر لك
اه
السكرين.
ايوه اهو، انا اروح ل3 بقى، صح؟
اه تمام
انتي
كده.
هايلة، انا رحت لوحدي اهو.
خلاص
خلاص.
تمام.
ممتاز.
زينب؟ شيماء؟
يا دكتور.
شيماء؟
ايوه يا دكتور.
او يلا كده، انت عامله 18 دقيقه المفروض خلصوا كده.
اه
ولا
خلاص
فاضل؟
هم راجعين دلوقتي.
اقول لك اميره دي كلمتوها؟
كلمناها ما ردتش.
طب بصي احسبيها غياب بقى وابعتي لها.
تمام حاضر.
Welcome back, dear colleagues. Welcome back. It's time to present how to involve student. Let us learn together how to involve student. Let us start with group 1. Who will present in group 1?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Amani.
تفضلي دكتور أماني. Hello, Dr. أماني. تفضلي.
Actually, we had like a short brainstorming and we tried to get the experience of all of us regarding what we are doing when we are giving teaching for a large group.
Excuse me, have you written anything, Amani, so that I will stop sharing?
No, I didn't.
Are
We
you
didn't.
presenting the PowerPoint? Okay. All right, go on. You are muted, ya Amani.
Yeah, it's okay. Now I'm unmuted. As I told, we didn't write, but I will try to memorize as much as I can from our brainstorming. We start by the think, pair, share. We found it's difficult, but we can modify it in a way so we can start posing an open-ended question to the class. And we will ask them if anyone wants to answer the question or want to reflect, or how we will see if anyone wants to share. We are expecting like at least 3, 4, 5 students will start sharing, but in a way, other students will listen to them and they will be like ready to share also their thoughts if we need. We found also polling and voting is a very important tool in giving a group teaching for the large group. So we can use the social media technology and we can present anything on the screen and everyone can use it with the phone and to answer the question also or to write the reflection regarding what we are doing. Also for presentation, we can ask them actually to divide themselves into 5 or 6 groups. And for each group, they can present one topic or part of the topic. And this will be a lot of, all of them will be engaged, especially if we, after finishing the topic, we start sharing a question among the whole group. Gamification again, to make like game-like elements. And just think about any gaming and we involve like people in the gaming and online platform. This is better actually after gaming. If we are creating online platform and everyone can go and can share his thoughts, also it will be a good tool. I think this is a maximum, and we was talking about in large group, it's always better when we start making like interactive, like question and answers, and just get their thoughts about what we are doing. And if someone can like give even a small presentation, and the colleagues will start a question and answer also in between all of them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amani, for sharing these methods of involving students in large group. And I would like to emphasize the value of using the technology. Nowadays, smartphone in our hands, and using the technology will make things. Well, thanks for Dr. Nanda. She already used one of these tools, which is the Slido in our presentation.
You have told me about it. You have told me about it, Ilham, and I'm very happy about it, although it allowed us only for 3. But I just wanted to emphasize here about the, now we are going to do the reflection as a role play. Did any one of the groups think about how to present in a form of a role play? It's not just the method. You will choose one of these methods and present it as a role play.
We thought about it as a group, as group 2. We thought to make the role play, but maybe when we are in like a large room, we may engage the students with the row in front and the row behind, or the one who is beside, and they can play it. And then by the end of the lecture, they can present as group.
Or we did think for a small group discussion, we have thought about a role play, madam.
Okay.
Okay, let us move for group 2. Then anyone able to make any role play, definitely you are welcomed. Thank you, Dr. Amani. Let us move for group 2.
We are group 2. I'm presenting. So we start first by asking questions. We think that if we ask a question and ask the students for their expectation, we may take the attention and we can engage them for the next session. And then using modified like flipped classroom or case discussion or problem discussion. And also using the gamification like Dr. Amani discussed. So it was the same ideas, I think. Also about the teacher, we thought that using a flexible body language, not so the teacher has to be like inviting and not be restricted in his body language. And if the setting is allowing the teacher to move through, if they are divided into small groups, so we need the supervision of the teacher and allowing the student to ask questions if they can, and also inviting them for using the open-ended question for sharing their ideas first before he talks, so they may reflect on what will happen in the lecture. And if there is any activity, this needs to be like going through clear instructions and giving them the time to think. The most important is giving them the time to think and reflect on their ideas.
We need the role play. Did any one of the groups make any role play? Would like to present it?
Has taken up small group discussion, and we have considered role play.
And please open your cameras, Marwa, Ahmed, Gamal, Amal, please. You are supposed to open the cameras during the session.
Thank you, Dr. Amira, for sharing the thoughts of group 2. Thank you. And here we finished the large group teaching setting and how could we involve students in this large group teaching setting. Let us move for the small group small group setting, group number 3 and 4, and we'll start with group 3. And definitely at any in any group, if you have a role play, please share it with us. Group 3, who will present?
Yes, Dr. Salwa, I will present in my behalf of Group 3. Our question was how to involve a group of the student in involvement. We thought about multi-method strategy, like for example, demonstration. We divided student in the lab, for example, class of health assessment. They can practice health assessment from head to toe in the lab. We thought about brainstorming. We thought about gamification can be used in anatomy class. We thought about including AI in the small group, like we can create platform in the telephone, and we can use also multiple question, like can we use a small group Kahoot. Also we can use a flip chart and use it. We can use role play, and it's very effective when you taught when student how to teach diabetic patient one-to-one. We think also about think per chair. We're using like when we give a question and 3 students can participate to answer this question. Also think about a workshop. Can integrate the student more involvement, and we teach them how to choose the facilitator, leader, and the presenters. What else we thought
And the
about it?
gallery walk, Dr. Salwa. And the gallery walk.
Gallery also, you can remind me. We thought also if you can gallery, yes. And this is all because we are experienced in teaching. Actually, use all this method when with involving a small group of students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salwa. Let us move for the third group.
Fourth group.
Fourth, sorry.
We have we are four of us. Noon, Khushbu, me, and Vaiz. So,
Dr. Soumetri, your
Yes,
voice
ma'am.
is not clear.
Can you hear me now, ma'am? Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Not so clear. Your voice is very far, very far.
Okay, can you hear me now, ma'am?
So it's يعني it's a bit يعني it's
better.
audible little بس يعني
Okay.
can you raise your voice?
Yes, I am. I'll raise my voice and talk through. I hope it is audible now. And we are actually doing a role play on a small group discussion. We have considered our role play, a small group discussion. The number of people would be between 4 to 15, and 4 of us would be presenting. The rest would be the participants we assumed. And I would be doing the role of doctor. Noon would be the observer, and and a family member also we have. And Dr. Khushbu would be the patient. So we are discussing on the topic breaking the bad news. So Dr. Khushbu will be the patient, and she will be asking the first question.
Okay, I should start. Doctor, what happened to me? It's making me really anxious. What really happened to me?
Hello, good evening, Khushbu. How are you doing? I know you have come with your people.
Can you just share the reports? I'm very anxious, doctor. I'm very nervous.
Oh, I'm very, yes, I understand. I understand that. And as you know, I'll tell you that as you know, we have taken a tissue of yours and we have sent it to the laboratory, and it has come positive. In short, I would like to tell you that you have been diagnosed.
What are you saying, doctor? I will not live enough, doctor.
Don't be so anxious, Dr. Khushbu. Likewise, I'm saying that this is on a stage 1 condition of cancer, and I would just tell you to be a little bit patient for how I am going to talk you through the process.
So can I call my relative inside, and can she also be a part of this conversation?
Yeah, you're most welcome to call anybody who would be supportive to you through this process.
Because I have a family, and telling them would be very difficult, but I need one person to at least share and know about this. So I would like to invite like Dr. Noon as my relative.
I absolutely understand your concern. Please call your support systems, be it anybody and any number of people.
Okay, how much will I live, doctor? Can you just tell me, because I'm very nervous, because I don't know how to go about this. I've never heard about this, and I didn't expect this will happen.
Oh, yes, I understand. It is going to be always complicated when it happens to us. Hello, Dr. Noon. I am Dr. Soumetri, and here we are today to discuss the health condition of Dr. Khushbu. So, as I was telling you,
Okay.
yeah. So, as you know that she is given a tissue recently, and it is diagnosed as stage 1 carcinoma. And
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that she is tested positive for cancer, but I can tell you that she is in stage 1. And it is a good thing that we were able to diagnose it very early, and you have come to the hospital very early. And that way I can just keep your options open. A surgery would be required. It is only a very small incision, and the maximum days would be 7 days she has to be in the hospital, and then she's good to go after few investigations. To be short, this would be how we would how would we like to proceed. But if you want me to take you through other options, I would be happy to talk you through.
I would like to discuss that with her first.
And how much money will be involved? How much financially, how much would be involved? Because
you do not have to worry about that, Dr. Khushbu, because as I see, you have your insurance covered and everything is covered under the insurance. Maximum you need to take medications, that would be on your pockets. That is all. And it is not very expensive. But let me tell you, Khushbu, that, you know, taking the medication, even though it is a little bit it is a little bit on your pocket, will save your life and you'll be leading a healthy and happy life further.
what are the side effects that I can have through this?
For now, because this is stage 1, you would not be having any side effects. I can tell you that once we're done with the surgery, we will
Will
send
I
it back
lose
to the-
my hair, doctor?
No, we would be just doing a surgery because it is stage 1 and hoping, and because it is not spread through anywhere, we would not give you any kind of medications that
Okay.
would actually result in hair loss
Hmm.
for your condition.
So what
you mean
what
I'll
kind of
get
I think, and I would like to ask how this role play can help in involving of the students. Can you highlight how this role play, this is a talk between patient and doctor, as I understand, how this talk and this role play can help in involvement of the student.
Involving 4 students and the rest would be participants. And these 4 students would be doing the assessment, and the 4 students would be doing the role play on breaking the bad news. One way they're going to be assessed on their communication skills through this role play when they are breaking the bad news.
Okay, so this is how to involve the student in clinical setting, not in small group teaching class. However, this is how to involve students in a clinical setting by breaking the bad news, and you teach them how to do so. Thank you so much. I think this is a bit outside our group work, because our group work is not using the clinical setting. Actually, clinical setting has a special training session linked to the clinical setting. But this workshop, it's all about the large group teaching and the small group teaching. يعني a bit different from involving patient in the middle. Okay?
So, ma'am, we could use
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
Can explain it more. We were discussing how to involve them. One of the methods was the role play. So we did a role play on a topic such as breaking bad news, and we were the students who were doing the role play. If I
And the students,
so you are using role play during teaching small group.
Yes.
On topic called how to deliver bad news. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presenters. Thank you for the group and working in the group. Therefore, I think all the group worked hard to use methods to involve students during their teaching settings. Let us summarize all what have been stated from the group. Therefore, we should work hard to involve the students by making them doing any action, like discussing topic, asking a question or answering the question, think and reflect, interpret, analyze, solve problems. Thank you for people said 1 minute paper. Just give them some time to write what they have learned. Giving them time to read and summarize, to making the poll and the AI methodology, using the role play as group number 3, used the role play to teach students how to involve them. Teaching peers, as I think Dr. Randa said, this is the top of learning. If we teach other, I think we gain more than 90% of the information. So if we give the chance for the student to prepare some part of the class and to teach their peers, I think we will push their learning to the top. These are some of the methodology that have been stated by every group, and here is the summary of some of them. Next, Dr.
Also, Dr. Maha?
If
Dr.
there is
Maha?
any question,
I also need to add something. I mentioned
تفضل.
like we can also base our teaching on theory, like if we use cognitive theory or humanistic theory, especially for adult learner, like it depend about self-direction and motivation. We can use this also as a skill, and our teaching will be supported by conceptual model, theoretical
أيوة, what
model
should we
behind.
do, Dr. Salwa? إحنا بنقول what should we do? Definitely theories are good, and to know theories, this is a perfect thing to base our action on theory. However, our exercise, what should you do? You will use this theory to do what? Tell us action. Action we will be able to do.
Again, your question, Dr. Maha?
Tell us about actions, Dr. Salwa.
Yes, I'm
Definitely
talking
knowing
I
theories is
understand.
good, but
Yeah,
what
but
should we do?
as you mentioned earlier, like you're talking about Bloom's taxonomy model. I mean that's I understand the question about action, but as a teacher also, we have to know about how to apply this theory into action.
What action we will do? This is the
example,
workshop. What actions?
Yeah.
What
Like for
action?
example, when you explain, I like the framework of Bloom's taxonomy model. It also guided me in teaching when, for example, when I need to work about Bloom's talking from
Okay,
understanding.
thank you,
to
Dr. Salwa. Thank you. So nowadays, and during the remaining part of this session, we will use some tools that can help us to involve students. One of these tools, we will provide some tools. As we stated, the more we do have tools that can be used in different settings, the better we can involve our students. So now I will explain some of the tools that can be used. One of these tools called the KWL chart. This is the KWL chart. It's stable like that. Will be distributed in the hand of every student to reflect and put their thoughts in. And K stand what I already know about this topic. So before explaining any topic, you ask the student to put their thoughts on this table, what they already know about this topic. And W stand what they want to know about this topic. So what they already know and what they want to know. And after you give the topic and the class finished, they should reflect on what they already learned, what I learned during this class. And by such giving time for reflection by the KWL chart, this will help the student to spend time thinking about the topic they want to learn, the topic they want to learn, and what they already learned during the class. So this is a very simple and can be used in the large group setting very easy, because it doesn't make any mess in the class. Please consider a large group a bit different from the small group by the number of student involvement. Therefore, there is restricted movement in the class. You can't ask the student to move because they are big number. And if you ask the student to move during the class, you will lose a lot of time. And the class will be messy, and some chaos will be in the class. Therefore, you in the large group setting, always we ask activities that can be done while the student is sitting in their place, without too much movement in the class. I think this is a big difference between the activity that can be used in large group and the small group. Because in small group, we all of us, we trained during the FAMR residential session about many activities can be used in a small group. And at that moment, it's allowed to ask the student to move, to work in a round table together, to present in a flip chart. Like these things is possible in a small group, and it can be done without wasting time and without making the class full of chaos. However, in large group, we need some techniques and some tools that can be done while the student is sitting without too much movement. One of these tools is the KWL chart. Is this chart clear for everyone?
Yes.
Thank you so much. The other, and this is the difference between large group and small group. And I think I explained this. So in large group, involve the student thinking by asking question and leave them to think, writing by 1 minute paper, by talking while they are in their place. So the tools or the technique that can be used in a large class should be simple and easy and time effective, without avoiding of the wasting time. Next, Dr. Randa. One of the tools that can be used is the flipped classroom. And I think we already discussed this during our residential session, how to give the material for the student to study before the class. Out of the class, they should study, prepare some area to present and so on. And when they come to the class, it's time to make activities, to write, to answer questions, to solve problems. And after that, they go back to their, out of the class, to their homes, checking their understanding and extend their learning by further reading. Therefore, this is the flipped classroom. They work individually out of the class. However, in the class, they work together in a group work. This is what's called the flipped classroom. So this is the second tool can be used. And this easily can be used in a large group as well as in the small group. Another tool that can be used to involve the student is what's called problem-based learning. Problem-based learning, it's learning around a problem. And this tool can be used by two different methods. First method is using the problem after explaining or after emphasizing on the important point in the class. Then we will give problem as application to what we already discussed for the student to work together to know how to solve this problem, and now they will apply what's already discussed and what already explained for them. And this is commonly used, is to use a problem as a tool to apply what already we learned. This is a technique of using the problem. The other technique of using the problem is the PBL, which is the problem-based technique, in which we already study through a problem. we disseminate the problem in the hand of the student, and the student work on this problem together to identify what they want to learn, and they go to search for the answer of every outcome they want to learn alone. And the teacher here is just a facilitator. And this is what's called the BBL technique of, well, I think there is some schools, medical school, working by the BBL strategy. Therefore, using the problem can be used either by the two methods, either by using the problem as an assignment, as a way to apply what we already learned, or constructing the topic around a problem, which is called the BBL technique. I hope these two ways of using the problem clear in the mind of everyone. If there is any question about that? The other method to involve the student is, as Dr. Randa said, we do have a limited time to maintain the attention. Our mind as a human being has an attention span. The attention span, it's how long our mind can be concentrating and listening for others. Can you assume how long we can listen and understand others while they are talking? How long?
In the past, I think it was like 45 minutes, but now with using this technology, I think from only 10 to 15 minutes.
Yes, it's only 10 to 15 minutes. Therefore, avoid continue talking more than 10 to 15, and then make any pause, any question in the middle, anything to refresh mind of your student and to retain the attention again. And the best way to maintain this attention high from the beginning till the end is to break what you want to learn into chunks. And each chunk will last for only 10 minutes. And then you start the activity, so even small activity, just think, just write 1 minute paper, just any kind of activity. So the best is to cut your class into chunks, divide the content you want to give. This is the content. You should divide these content into chunks, and these chunks should be separated by some activities. And the length of each chunk should never exceed 10 to 15 minutes. Some people here ask, how could I do this and I may be not able? Please back Dr. Randa. Some people can ask, how could I do this? And it may be not enough to cover all the content that I want to cover. What you want to tell these teachers, if they said to me, no, I can't do this because the topic is very big and I can't stop every 10 to 15 minutes making some activity. I can't cover the topic because it's very big topic. What you should tell these teachers? If there is any thought?
You are bad teacher.
What you should advise them, not to judge them, not to judgment. I need advice for these teachers.
The topic.
Dr. Shaima.
The advice is already written in the slide. Don't try to cover every topic in complete detail. You just highlight the important topics and let the students complete the job by reading either post session or pre-session. Only guide you are the facilitator and you should guide the students to the topics they should know. Only highlight the important topics during the session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaimaa. يبقى less is more, less is more. And this apply to the cognitive theory that already discussed by Dr. Randa. And this is the statement of Einstein. You don't have to tell every details. You are here facilitator, helping the student to highlight the important part and give them time to go and read for self-learning. Therefore, less is more. Don't try to cover everything. However, you should cut the content and break the content into chunks, 10 minutes each. Next, Dr. Randa. And this is the attention span that we described. Look for the attention span. The student can only sit and absorb the information only for 10 to 15 minutes. After that, their attention will be declined like that. Therefore, if you keep telling for longer period, actually, like the bucket, information will be out and will be يعني as nothing happened. Avoid doing that because it's useless. This is the attention span. Another method to help in making students interactive, sometimes we are in the class without being prepared. Therefore, we forget to make the activities. Therefore, we advise every teacher before going to any class, prepare your lesson plan. What's lesson plan? If there is any thought about what's the lesson plan? Do you know what's the lesson plan?
We used it in the past when I was teaching in a university. We have a lesson plan template where you write the topic, the objective, the intended activities for the students, and that was it. It's like a guide to tell you what to do during your lecture.
Thank you so much. And even if you want to carry any activities, it should be included, it should be described, it should be time allocated. Therefore, this lesson plan will prepare you as a teacher to how to run your class. When you stop and what activity you will do and for how long this activity will continue. Therefore, the lesson plan, it is highly needed for every teacher to prepare himself for an interactive class. It's not something happened ad hoc on the floor. No, it's a prepared activity. Therefore, in the lesson plan, the aim of this lesson plan is to clarify what will be done, when it will be done, how you will do it, and why you are making such activity, what is the outcome you want to achieve. Therefore, you will write all these things. Therefore, it is clear to you how you will manage your class. And the second benefit of this lesson plan is even if you not able to enter the class and time and you have any instance that prevents you from entering the class, you can pass this lesson plan for any of your colleagues. And at that moment, there is they will run the class similarly as you, because you already write the plan you will follow. Therefore, this is the way to standardize the teaching between even groups. Next, Dr. Randa. And طبعا Benjamin Franklin state this quote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And this is the importance and the value of preparing your lesson plan. Therefore, we should prepare our lesson plan. At that moment, we know the activity that we will do. Now it's time for reflection time. please hold your paper and tell us how to manage the teaching session, how you are going to manage the teaching session, keeping in mind your aim is to keep your student involved, because student involvement is the way for effective learning. Please reflect. It is a 5-minute reflection, how to manage, by all we have learned, how to manage the teaching class. All yours, 5 minutes reflection. Okay, this is a poll. You can start writing your thought. Please scan the QR code and write your thought.
Someone is French here. Préparation.
Still, we have some colleagues writing. Okay.
Majority are found about interaction and chunks.
Thank you so much. We are very happy that we already succeeded to convince every one of you that active involvement is the key, and managing the teaching session to involve the student to be physically, mentally, and emotionally involved in the class and spending energy in their learning is the key for effective learning. And all these are methods and tools that can be used in managing our class. Thank you so much for even chunks. This is good, and opening place for making things interactive. Thank you so much. We reach the summary. I think you should summarize, Dr. Randa.
Okay. Thank you very much for this elaborative session. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Ilham, for raising the ideas. And I would like also to thank the participants and the fellows for sharing their thoughts. And now we are talking about the educational in any educational setting, whether it is a large group teaching or a small group teaching. The most important point here is the student involvement is very important, and it is essential for deep learning. The teachers or the instructors should master some interactive techniques, and we should always think about what's new. For example, I was discussing with Dr. Ilham yesterday. She told me about the Slido, and I was very happy about it. And this is something new. So you have always to look for new ideas and for new ways to get the students involved, because what's important here is that the students mostly know more than us as teachers and as instructors. They understand about the artificial intelligence. They browse about the new ideas, and therefore we have to cope with the situation. We have to understand how we can get through them, and they need us not to spoon feed them. They need us to interact with them, and we need to get adapted to the teaching learning image, in which every time we teach, we find something new that we have to add for the second time. Of course, it is very important to understand that planning is important. We have to prepare for our class. Usually, we use the same basic material or the material that we have used, but certainly the successful instructors or teachers are always looking forward to change, to add new ways to think about how to pull the participants or the students into interactive sessions, and how to exchange the experiences between you as teachers and between the students and each other. And any questions, please? The platform is open for the questions.
Please, I have some query about
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you. Dr. Gamal.
Yes, Professor Ilham,
I can't hear Dr. Gamal. Sorry for that. I hope our voice is clear. I hope. Do you think, Dr. Randa, our voice was clear or not?
I just want to ask you this question, please. Did you hear us well during the session, or
yes?
Okay.
Sorry,
break your question into small chunks, please.
Okay.
And I know, of course, that you speak very slowly. I understand, and we all know about it. We can hear you well. Okay.
No, I just ask about the best method for application KWL chart. Starting and end in the lecture, or can I start the K before the lecture? And
Thank you so much, Dr. Galal, for the question. Thank you so much. The KWL chart, you should start it before the lecture, because what do you know about this topic and what you want to learn about this topic? This is the reflection pre-class. And then after running the class, they should reflect once more about what they have learned during their class activities. Therefore, it should be started before the class. So it's a continuous process before the class and after the class, and they build on what they want to know. Yeah.
Okay. Another illustration, please. the best method, it is manual or shared
Nothing called.
for
Thank you thank you for the question. Nowadays we are moving into technology. Therefore, nothing called best in this. It is a personal preference. Some people love being digitally involved and write in their tablets or in their computer, and others want to make it on a hard copy. However, both for us is a method for reflection. Yeah, but this technique is a technique for sitting with self and reflect. By any tool, by paper and pen is good, by tablets is good, by computer is good, anyway, but just open time to sit with yourself and reflect.
Okay.
Thank you so
About
much.
the W can be before the lecture too, or at the beginning of the lecture?
What I want to learn, this is definitely before the lecture. Years ago, when we learned to be an international certified trainer, we cannot start any training course before collecting what's called the expectation of the student. Expectation, which is we ask the students attending the class, what you want to learn during this class. This is the expectation. And this is the W is what you want to learn. Therefore, it is the expectation of the student, but it's written in paper. Therefore, highlighting the expectation of the student is a very known way to involve the student thinking, involve the student emotionally in the process of learning, because they think what they want to learn, what their expectation. Okay?
Okay, Professor, thank you very much.
You are welcomed.
Any other question?
Yes, thank you, Professor Randa and Professor Ilham, for this information and for all this information. I have actually a question regarding the KWL. Can it be used in, for example, in portfolio? Sometimes we have like student reflection on a module. So can we, and sometimes students are lost when they write their reflection, especially during year 1 and year 2. So can it be used like a way to organize their thoughts? So we write the 3 questions, like these 3 open-ended questions that you can reflect. Is it used this way, or it's only during sessions?
Thank you, Dr. Dina. Thank you for the question. Definitely, it's a very versatile tool. Thank you so much for highlighting. And this tool can be used in different settings. Yes, of course, you are totally right and correct. This tool, it is a reflection tool. And I think we already learned during the residential session the value of reflection.
Yes.
Sitting with self, thinking about what we learn and what we want to learn. This is the major brain stimulatory behavior. And once the brain is stimulated to think about these things, definitely learning will be better, and definitely learning will be deep. Therefore, this tool, please, I encourage everyone to use it across things, before the module, after the module, before the class, after the class. It's very simple, and very effective. Very effective. Thank you so much, Dr. Dina, for the question.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions, or you are good night?
Thank you, Professor Ram.
Thank you for your interactions. It was really nice being with you today. I would like to thank Dr. Ilham, and
Anna, I would like to thank Dr. Randa for her effort. She is doing she modified the presentation and she prepared the, thank you so much for the effort for making good preparation for this session. Actually, she spent a lot of time to prepare this session.
You are always nice and having something nice to tell everyone. So I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much.
To thank our admin, Shaimaa and Zainab.
Definitely. Thank you for
Ramadan
Shaimaa
Kareem.
and Zainab.
Ramadan Kareem and fasting and good fasting for our dear Christian friends. And see you next time.
Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan
We want
Kareem
to make a group breakfast كده اللي هي breaking
fast.
Breaking good news.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ilham. تصبح على خير.
Thank you so much, Dr. Randa. Thank you for all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.